Today here we have the August Paletteful Packs box. It just arrived to me in the mail today and I'm excited to see what's inside, so let's open this bad boy up. I've got to say, I've always been a fan of Paletteful Packs packaging and everything that they give you because I feel like they give you a lot. So many. Okay, let's get this out of the way. I mean, I'm seeing a lot, but first, let's look at this. First we have the Marabou Graphic Sketch Marker markers, and it looks like that there are 6 markers in this pack and they are all gray tones. High quality, vibrant colored alcohol based ink that is low in odor and fast drying. So it looks like these are alcohol markers. I've heard of these before, I've never actually used them, so I am excited to have received them. So another pack of the Marabou sketch markers. This time it's 6 colors, so it looks like this one comes with black, green, cyan, magenta, vermilion, and primary yellow. Already we've got quite a bit of options with this one. Here we have a Faber-Castell Pit Artist pen in the color gold. I have never seen this before. I've never seen a gold Pit Artist pen. Ooh, not really what I expected. But next up we have an Art Alternatives pigment liner. See, this is what I was expecting. I was expecting something like that. I don't know why. But we have a 0.1 millimeter. It's water and fade resistant, acid free. I've never used Art Alternative liners before, so I'm excited to try these out because I feel like I'm always looking for a good multi-liner. I feel like I just can't find one that I like. So we have another one here in the same color, black. This one's a 0.5, and then this one is actually white. And this one also has the bullet nib. It says it on the package. I guess if I had just looked at the other one, I would have known that. But this one is Faber-Castell. So we have 2 Art Alternatives and 2 Faber-Castell pens. Oh my god. How do I get this out? Here we have a full pad of Bristol paper. Seth Cole is the brand. I've also never heard of this brand, but I do appreciate a good Bristol paper. How many papers is this? 12. It's 12 sheets in this pack. I don't know why that took me so long to find. The quality feels good. They feel thick. They feel nice and smooth. Like I said earlier, I'm always really excited to see what Paletteful Packs provides because I feel like out of all the art subscription boxes, they provide a lot of stuff for a really good price. So I always like to compare like the price of the box to what comes in the box so that you know you're getting a good deal. So sketch markers alone, both packs retail for about $18 American. The Pitt Gold pen is about $5. The white pen is about $3, and the all alternative liners are about $2 each, so that's $4 for both of them. And then the Bristol paper is about $10 American. That's a total of This is a total of roughly $40. So everything that comes in this box retails for about $40, which is a really good deal because this box is only, I think, like 20 something dollars, maybe like 30. I don't remember, but I know that everything that retails in here is more expensive than the actual box itself. So Paletteful Packs always comes with the weekly prompts instead of like a monthly prompt. I think that this is a good idea, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of lazy and I always forget to do these, so I'll probably just pick one of these. I don't know though, because I feel like these are kind of basic prompts. It's pirate, pastry, shoe, and cityscape. Maybe cityscape could be a little more complex, but I feel like the other ones are just kind of basic. I don't know. So I took a piece of the Bristol paper out of the pad and I'm going to go ahead and start swatching some of these things. So this is the first thing I grabbed, so I guess I'll just start with this. So far so good. I feel like I've used something similar to this in the past. It's just a gold marker, you know? It works well. Get some fine lines in there. I like it. If anybody makes fun of me for how I do my G's, I swear to God. Then this was kind of dumb to do the white. I mean, you can kind of see it on camera. Well, maybe not really, so maybe I will use that over a liner. Let's try the liners. Wow, I feel like this is not very pigmented. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my lighting right now. Let me try to fix my lighting. I feel like it's kind of a dull black. I'm kind of disappointed with that because I feel like it's not as dark as some of the other pigment liners that I've used. Let's try this one. Yeah, like, I mean, they seem like good liners, but it just feels like it's not as dark. I mean, it's showing up kind of dark on camera, but like in person, it's kind of dull. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm gonna go ahead and try the white over it. I mean, kinda, I guess. It blends with the liner a little bit, so that's kind of a bummer. Maybe it'll do better with the markers. Let's go ahead and swatch the markers. We're gonna start off with the colored set. So I'm just gonna grab one marker at a time. This is definitely different packaging than I've ever really seen. I mean, I don't know, it's pretty similar, I guess, but it seems like bulkier and I don't know. Okay, whatever, let's just try it. So here we have the primary yellow, chisel nib, of course, and then a bullet nib on this end. I've just realized that I've done a lot of alcohol marker videos recently. Sorry. I like how vibrant these colors are, I will say that. They are pretty bright. I feel like this nib is a little dry, but hopefully it'll get going the more we use it. I feel like I don't know what the color scheme is here. Like, I know they're all like kind of primary colors, but I just feel like it's weird to have like a pink and then a light green. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being picky about it, but I mean, they're very bright and I like that. It also seems like they lay down pretty smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and test the gray ones and then we'll go ahead and do like a, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the gray ones now. I just realized that I never actually listed the color name. So this one is a warm gray light. So it's kind of more like a sepia, it seems like. Okay. Next we have a cool gray deep. All right, it's just like a really dark gray. A cool gray. Cool gray light. Warm gray deep. Didn't we just have that? Oh no, it's cool gray deep. Okay, warm gray deep. Ooh, I like that. Okay, and lastly we have just a warm gray. So looking at this, I feel like we have quite a bit of options with what we can do here. A lot of fine liners, a lot of colors, a lot of grays. I feel like they gave us quite a bit to work with, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I'd rather have like too many art supplies than not enough, I guess. I don't know why I'm gonna test this because I know how alcohol markers work, but I'm gonna go ahead and like blend them, see how that works out, because I've never actually used the Marabu alcohol markers because they're kind of expensive. Well, maybe not that expensive, but maybe I'm just cheap. Yellow into the vermilion. Blend this out a little bit. So this definitely picks up the pigment of the other marker a lot easier than other markers I've used. Alcohol markers specifically, I guess, because usually when I blend them out, they don't, because like they don't usually pick up that much ink from the other marker, because I mean they're still orange on there, which I don't know, maybe that's a good thing, because then I feel like that created like a pretty good blend there, but then I also feel like that kind of ruins the nib, because then you have to sit here and do this to get the other color off of it. Let's try like a blue and a green. So we'll try the cyan with the light green and see how that works. I'm glad I did this because I would have been really mad if I was trying to blend on my actual art piece and it did that and I wasn't expecting it, so. I guess it's not that bad. I feel like I've seen other markers do better, but then again, this is just me swatching them, so I could be underestimating them, honestly. I want to see how the fine liners and the gold and white pens work over them, so I'm going to do that. I mean, so in contrast, it does make the liner look a lot darker than up here does. At least they work. Do they smudge? No, they do not. Cool. Okay. That works pretty well over there. It does definitely, like I said, make the fine liner look a lot darker than it is. It works well. I mean, it covers it. It just seems like the colors around it maybe dull it out a little bit. I don't like that. Is it meant to do that? So on the card, it says that it's perfectly opaque and light fast, but using it on the alcohol marker, it totally just took on the color, which in theory, that can be really cool, right? Because if you're like trying to make some cool features and it takes on like a lighter color of what you just put it over, that can be kind of cool. Like that turned yellow. This isn't doing much on this side, but that turned yellow. That's kind of cool, but it's also not what I expected from a white liner, you know? I expected it to be like a nice bright pop of white, and it didn't really do that. Up in here, it really just like quickly fades. Like it starts out really bright, maybe if the camera isn't picking it up, but it starts out really bright and then it just fades out super fast. Like this one is taking on more of like a pink tone. Yeah, it just turned yellow, like literally right before my eyes. What? Why is it only doing it with some colors? It's not seeming to do it with the blue or really the green, but it is with like kind of with the pink, definitely with the yellow, and sort of with the red. It's not really doing it with the gray tones either. That's kind of weird. I don't really like that because then I don't really know what to expect from it. So far, some of these supplies are really good and some of them I don't really know yet, so I guess we will create something and we will find out how I feel about this month's box. So first and foremost, I'd like to say that I did actually have footage of me sketching out a thumbnail and trying to get ideas of what I was going to do and trying to figure out color patterns and what I was going to do with like all of these colors that I have, and I was trying to figure out how things blended a little bit better because I didn't really do a whole lot of that with the swatching, but somehow that file got corrupted and I could not find a way to fix it or figure it out or whatever, so I did have to scrap all of that. But I just thought I'd mention that I did try to go over some ideas. I know I initially said that I was not going to do a cityscape, but the more I kind of thought about it and the more like references I kind of looked up, the more intrigued I got with it. I thought it would be really cool to do like a silhouette of a cityscape and then do a really bright sunset behind it, which you'll see in a minute. But I did also have some other ideas. I kind of thought about doing more of a focus on like a landscape around a cityscape, so like maybe a few buildings in the background, but mostly focused on the landscape itself. But after reviewing my color choices, I kind of figured that I really didn't have much of like an option for earth tones or anything that I could do to make it look brighter and more focused on that. So I ended up going with like almost kind of a darker look in a sense. So what I did was I decided it would be really cool if I did like a really cloudy sky over this sunset that I'm going to do on this drawing, and blending out all of the clouds was actually really difficult. This whole drawing was actually kind of really difficult for me. I'm not really sure why. I don't think I'm good at alcohol markers. I tried so hard for a very long time to get these clouds to blend like just right, and it just like I could not get them to blend the way that I wanted to, and it was really frustrating for me, and I kept trying over and over again, and eventually I just had to like let it go because it wasn't working out the way that I wanted it to, and I could not get it to work out this way. I don't know if it was the markers, I don't know if it was the paper that they sent, I have no idea what it was. I don't know if it was just me, but it was really, really hard to get it to blend out the way that I wanted and to make the shapes that I wanted. And maybe at that point that's just me, but I don't know. I have a problem with these markers. I really do. They just didn't work the way that I expected them to. As you can see, I'm going in here over and over again on the clouds, trying to get them to blend the way that I want, and it's just not working out. And I go over with a bunch of different tones. I was trying to create a look of like a storm had just come through, and there was a lot of different variations in cloud colors and cloud grayness, and that's what I was trying to make happen. And more towards the top, I was trying to show that like a little bit of light was showing through, but it ended up just looking really muddy and weird. And I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about this overall piece, just because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it was me or if it was the markers, but one of them performed badly. Probably me. When I first looked at references for what I was going to do, I didn't really think about doing a cityscape. I was trying to look at the color options that I had and then kind of go from there, but I wasn't really finding anything that was inspiring me or anything that I liked. So I ended up going with a cityscape, like I said, but I didn't do this in the style that I usually would, and that kind of frustrates me and also makes me not like it as much because it's just a new style and I never really do styles like this, and I don't know, I don't think I liked it just because it was something new, and because it was something new, it's not something I knew how to do, so it was bad, so I didn't like it. Overall, the grays were definitely easier to work with as far as blending. I mean, they were still really difficult to get to blend, but when it came to the colored markers, I just had the hardest time with those. I don't really know why. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if, like I said, if it was the paper or what, and I kind of hope it wasn't the paper because I didn't take any footage of this, but when I was done with the art, I flipped it over and it didn't bleed through at all. I don't know if all Bristol paper does this, but this stuff was really, really good.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
So here I'm still trying to blend everything out and make it look a little brighter towards the end of the sky because there's going to be a sunset behind it. But still, like, you can even just see like the colors will not blend, nothing is looking right. It becomes a little more put together at the end. But I just, like, this art was just so frustrating for me to do because of the fact that the clouds were so hard to blend and that I couldn't really get the colors that I wanted, and it was just not turning out the way that I imagined.
again. Swatching.
For this, I thought it would be really cool. Instead of just doing a cityscape, I thought I would do a cityscape scene through like a window, like if you were looking out a window. And I noticed that I'm not really like acknowledging the edges of the paper with this black marker, and I know that, and it's because if you will please turn your attention to the right of my desk, there is alcohol marker everywhere, and at the time I didn't know that this alcohol marker wasn't bleeding through this paper, but I also didn't take the time to put a piece of paper behind it to protect it because I wasn't thinking about anything, I guess. But I was sort of thinking about something because I skipped kind of the edges so that I wouldn't. This is a long way of me saying that I skipped the edges because I didn't want to get more alcohol marker ink on my desk. That's it. I come back to it later at the end, but that's the only reason that I didn't do it now. So for the sky, because I mentioned that these colors were so hard to blend, I decided it would make it be easier if I did this method where you put some of the alcohol ink kind of in a porcelain or plastic dish of some sort, and then you pick up ink with another marker and kind of blend that out. This worked pretty well, but as you can kind of see, it is a little splotchy where some of the red color is kind of deposited, and then the yellow just comes back really quickly, which is so weird because when I was swatching these in the beginning, it seemed like it took forever for some of the color to get off of the marker that you're using. So like when I swatched the red and the yellow into a gradient to see how well it would blend, it took forever to get that red ink off of the yellow marker, and it was just weird that it kind of didn't do this then. This method seemed to work a little bit better. In hindsight, I probably could have used like alcohol to help get things to blend, but I didn't really think about it at that point. It's done now, so I can't do anything about it now. So I do realize that at this point, it's not so much looking like a sunset, but more like the city is on fire. And that was not intentional, but it's what I could do. That's all I can say. Before you comment saying anything like, oh, it looks like it's on fire, I know it does. I'm doing the best I can, okay? I really try to use every material that was given in this box, because I kind of also at the same time like to test how the materials are going to work together, because sometimes I don't know if you've ever had this, but I've received art subscription boxes where it feels like nobody took any time to think about how things would work together, and then it's like all of the art supplies are just like, they aren't cohesive in any way, shape, or form. It's so frustrating to me when you get stuff like that because it's like then no care was put into the box, but I always like to give it a fair chance, so I always try to use every single art supply given in the box. I will say for this box, the art supplies did work well together. The gold marker worked really well on top of most of these colors, and besides the alcohol markers not blending very well, they were still decent. So now I'm moving on to the water. I was trying to get like a deeper look in the waves, so I thought it was working to put that really bright pink down and then put blue over it, because then it kind of created a purple where the pink was. As you can see on the top, it kind of starts to fade a little bit and it kind of muddies it together. I think these markers actually ended up blending like a little bit more even after laying it down originally. Like, I know it takes time for the alcohol to dry, but I feel like they just continued to blend for a while after. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm going ahead and filling all of this white space in with water. I just thought the contrast between the yellow sky and the blue water would look really pretty. I think that the idea that that bottom part is water comes through pretty well. I'm still just kind of upset about the sky because it just looks like the city's on fire, and that wasn't my intentions, but that's kind of what I got. The only two supplies that I didn't use in this piece was the smallest fine liner that we got. I used the larger one to line the work before I started. I figured just having the kind of basics mapped out would be helpful for me in the end so that I can just go in and start coloring and filling things in. But I also didn't use the green marker. I was going to use it on the water part of the picture to kind of deepen some of the color or maybe brighten it up. I don't know how it would have reacted, but I decided against it. I just kind of liked how the blue looked with a little bit darker blue and then this white highlight on top. I was being kind of messy about it. I wasn't trying to be so realistic with it. I'm not sure if I liked how this piece turned out. So I'm going in with the white marker because I thought it would be cool to put in some white clouds, and I knew from swatching that they would take on the color of the yellow. So I really actually liked how those turned out because I realized that it looks like the city's on fire. I wanted to try to make it a little more obvious that it had stormed and it was raining. So I decided to draw raindrops like on the window panes to kind of give that idea that it was raining, not so much that the city is burning.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
I don't really know how well this worked. I feel like some of them look okay, and I feel like others not so much. I think I really need to work on depth in color, I guess. This was the idea behind that. And like I said, I think some of it worked and some of it really didn't. As a whole, I think the piece turned out okay. Still, I just am not really sure how I feel about it. I mean, from just an outsider perspective, I think it's visually pleasing because of the colors. The art itself, like the subject, I'm not so sure. So here I am filling this in like I promised. And here is the final result. Still not sure how I feel about it, but let me know what you think in the comments, how this looks and what you would have done. And so, there you have it. Paletteful Packs August 2020. I almost forgot what year it is. August Paletteful Packs 2020 box. In the end, I feel okay with what I've done. It's definitely not my style that I usually do, but I'm fairly happy with it. I mean, I'm not the greatest at alcohol markers, so it is what it is, but I felt like this box was pretty intimidating at first, at least for me, because I don't work with alcohol markers very often, but I'm happy with what I came up with, and I'm happy that I got to practice with a material that I don't use very often. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you also got this Paletteful Packs box. Let me know what you created with it, how you felt about it. Make sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you really feel like it. I don't blame you if you don't. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, don't be mean to people unless they deserve it. Okay, I'm gonna stop giving advice. See you guys in the next video. Bye!